The waiting room clock ticked louder than his heartbeat. The white walls of the emergency room glowed beneath harsh fluorescent lights, and every second felt like a century. Noah Bennett sat hunched on a stiff plastic chair, his trembling hands clutching a little pink jacket, the one his daughter had begged to wear that morning. It was still warm, faintly smelling of bubblegum shampoo and crayons. Somewhere beyond those heavy double doors, surgeons were fighting to save her life. His little girl, Ava, only 6 years old, was inside because of a drunk driver who never even stopped. He hadn't eaten since yesterday. His phone was dead, his shirt stained with dried blood, not his but Ava's. His mind replayed the scene endlessly, the red light, the small backpack flying through the air, the way she whispered "Daddy" before losing consciousness. The sounds, the smell of gasoline, the sight of her tiny body in his arms, they haunted him. Every breath burned, every thought was guilt. Before you go further, if you believe kindness and second chances can still change lives, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Journal. Your support helps us bring more real stories of compassion and hope to light. Noah had been a single father for 3 years since his wife's passing from cancer. He was a mechanic, quiet, hard-working, and the kind of man who put others before himself. His world had shrunk after his wife's death, reduced to his small apartment and the garage he worked in. But Ava had kept him alive. She was sunshine in shoes, always painting hearts on his lunchboxes and leaving sticky notes that said, "You're the best, Daddy." And now she was fighting for her life. The ER was nearly empty, except for a few nurses moving briskly behind the counter. The coffee machine hissed in the corner, spreading a bitter smell that didn't help his nausea. Noah buried his face in his hands and tried to pray, though his faith had cracked long ago. He wanted to scream, to tear something apart, to run into that room and take her pain. But all he could do was sit and wait. He didn't notice the woman at first. She entered quietly, dressed in an elegant cream-colored coat, her hair tied neatly in a low bun, diamonds glinting faintly at her ears. She didn't belong here, not in this place of pain and fear. Her heels clicked softly against the tile before she stopped near the vending machine. The woman, in her mid-40s, with a calm face lined by sorrow, glanced around until her eyes settled on Noah. For a long moment she simply watched him. She saw his shaking hands, his bloodshot eyes, the pink jacket pressed to his chest. Then she sighed, the kind of sigh that comes from knowing what heartbreak feels like, and walked toward him. Noah didn't look up until she spoke. "Is she your daughter?" she asked softly. Noah nodded, voice hoarse. "Ava, 6 years old, hit by a car. They're trying to save her." The woman hesitated, then sat down beside him without a word. For several minutes, silence stretched between them, broken only by the distant sound of medical machines beeping. Then she reached into her purse and offered him a small packet of tissues. "You look like you've been holding your breath for too long," she said quietly. Noah accepted it with trembling fingers. "Feels like it," he muttered. She smiled faintly. "When my husband died, I forgot how to breathe too. It took me months to remember that life still moves forward even when you don't want it to." He blinked, startled. He hadn't expected her to share something so personal. "I'm sorry," he whispered. She nodded. "I lost him 5 years ago, heart failure. One moment we were talking about what to make for dinner, and the next, he was gone. I thought I'd never feel anything again. Money couldn't fix that. Nothing could." She looked down at her hands. "But I learned something in that grief. Something I never forgot." Noah looked at her, curious. Despite his exhaustion. "What's that?" She turned to him, her eyes steady, kind, and filled with quiet conviction. "That love never leaves. It changes shape, but it never disappears. The people we love don't just vanish. They live through the love we keep giving." The words hit him like a wave. He swallowed hard, unable to speak. For the first time that night, his tears came freely, falling onto his hands. He tried to apologize, to hold them back, but she simply placed a gentle hand over his and said, "Don't be sorry. It means your heart still works. As the hours passed, they talked in fragments, about life, loss, and the small things that keep people going when the world feels unbearable. Her name was Evelyn Ross, a widow and philanthropist who had once owned a global luxury brand but had since dedicated her fortune to children's hospitals after losing her husband and their only son. She had come to this ER to deliver a personal donation, something she did quietly, without media or attention, when she saw Noah sitting alone. Noah told her about Ava, how she loved to sing in the car, how she always mixed up spaghetti with bruschetta, how she once made him pinky promise never to be sad. Evelyn listened closely, her eyes glistening. When the doctor finally came out, Noah shot to his feet. The man's expression was unreadable at first. "She's stable for now," the doctor said slowly. "She's got a long recovery ahead. Head trauma, broken ribs, but she's strong, she's fighting." Noah collapsed back into his chair, covering his face with both hands as relief and exhaustion washed over him. Evelyn placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder, tears welling up in her own eyes. "See," she whispered, "love doesn't leave." But the challenges weren't over. Ava needed months of specialized therapy and surgery to walk again. The hospital bills stacked faster than Noah could open them. He worked double shifts, barely sleeping, selling his car, his tools, anything to keep the treatments going. But soon, he hit a wall. One morning, as he sat beside Ava's hospital bed reading her favorite picture book, a nurse entered, holding a clipboard. "Mr. Bennett, the billing office needs you to update your payment plan." Her voice was polite but weary. Noah nodded, his throat tight. He had already maxed out his credit. Later that day, he found himself back in the hallway, the same sterile scent and cold tiles beneath his feet. He sat down, head bowed, the weight of despair pressing down again. He didn't notice the familiar figure until a soft voice spoke beside him. "You didn't call," Evelyn said gently, sitting next to him. She was holding 2 cups of coffee. "I told you to reach out if things got tough." Noah tried to smile, embarrassed. "I couldn't ask for help. I'm just a mechanic. You've already done enough." Evelyn handed him the coffee and shook her head. "You're a father. That's the greatest title anyone can have. Let me help." She explained that she had quietly set up a foundation fund in Ava's name, covering her treatments and therapy. "No strings," she added. "Just one condition. When she's better, you teach her that kindness is the most valuable currency in the world." Noah stared at her, speechless. He tried to protest, but Evelyn's eyes left no room for argument. "You would have done the same if our places were reversed," she said softly. Months passed, and Ava recovered slowly, each day stronger than the last. She learned to walk again, first with braces, then on her own. Noah was by her side through every wobbling step, his heart swelling with pride and gratitude. Evelyn visited often, bringing books, flowers, and laughter into their hospital room. One afternoon, sunlight poured through the wide hospital window as Ava took her first unassisted steps toward Noah. He caught her in his arms, tears spilling down his cheeks. Evelyn stood near the door smiling, her hand over her heart. In that moment, Noah realized something profound. That life's cruelest blows sometimes lead us to the gentlest souls. When Ava was finally discharged, Evelyn invited them to a park she often visited, a quiet, sprawling garden she'd built in memory of her husband and son. As Ava played among the roses, Noah and Evelyn sat on a bench watching her. The sky glowed gold with sunset, and the air smelled of jasmine. Evelyn turned to him and said the same words she had spoken that night in the ER, the ones that had carried him through the darkest months. "Love never leaves." Noah smiled faintly. "You were right. It just finds new ways to stay." Evelyn's eyes softened. "And so does kindness." They sat in silence, watching Ava laugh, her little arms stretched to the sky. For the first time in years, Noah felt peace. Not the kind that forgets pain, but the kind that accepts it as part of love's journey. He knew he'd never be the same man again, and that was okay. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Journal. Let the world know that compassion still exists, and that no one is truly alone in their darkest hour. Special request: comment below with the words, "Love never leaves," if you believe kindness can change a life. As the sun dipped behind the horizon, Ava ran toward them, holding a daisy in her tiny hand. She gave it to Evelyn and said, "For helping my daddy smile again." Evelyn laughed softly, her eyes shimmering with tears. And in that moment, beneath the fading light, surrounded by flowers and laughter, 3 broken hearts found something rare and beautiful. They found healing.